When we think of vast colonial empires, the British Empire is often one that springs to mind, but indeed this empire had a very much equally imperialistic sister, the French Empire. What was the legacy of this empire? Why was it important? What were the cultural characteristics? Was it any good? Was it all just a load of evil? From Africa to Cameroon to French Indochina, this is the French Empire. Right, I'll be taking you on a 10-part series, 10 episodes, right from the downfall of Napoleon all the way up to modern day. So 200 years of history, a lot to cover, a lot to crack through. This is the French Empire, and I hope you enjoy this series. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another YouTube video. As you can see, we have now reached the First World War, so we're halfway through the French Empire series now. It's been 99 years since the Battle of Waterloo. Who would have thought it? But indeed, the French Empire is far from just halfway through its escapades, and it's still got, of course, 1914, a massive year globally. And this is the First World War for the French Empire. Sources are linked down in the description. Let's begin. By the time the shot was fired at Franz Verdun on the 28th of June 1914, the French Empire was already well prepared for war. They had built up their troops, which now numbered 1,300,000 men in their army. And the vengeance that they wanted for Germany was now, of course, used, as the 1894 alliance they made with Russia, and now the triple entente they had packed with Britain since Verdun had been invaded, set the alliance stages very, very quickly. And before you know it, 6 million men were marching to war across Europe. But not just Europe. Straight away, on the 6th of August 1914, French troops, a little bit annoyed, again saw in the last video of the Agadir crisis, having to give up land in Central Africa, seized the opportunity along with their British allies, and they started invading the German colony of Cameroon with a K. The German spelling before it turned into a French colony later on, which we'll get to later. So there was bloody fighting in Africa as well. Not to mention in the Middle East. The French army also wanted their interests over the oil regions of the Middle East, such as Syria and Lebanon. They also joined in the British forces and Greek and started invading the Ottomans there. However, pretty quickly, like with pretty much all First World War armies, but French in particular, as you can see at this photo here, this is how they were marching to war in a modern warfare with machine guns and snipers, bright blue uniforms, and some red trousers, a little hat on top. You can be spotted from a mile away. So their losses quickly mounted, and stalemate quickly set in, and the French, however, did maintain the blue uniform throughout the war. Although they did win, so there was definitely some benefits. However, in near the city of Verdun, the bloodiest battle of the First World War was about to ensue. On the 21st of February 1916, the French launched an offensive. Again, that general British plan, the Allies, France and Britain and Russia, in 1916 used sort of a three-way measure, Brusilov offensive, Battle of the Somme, and the Battle of Verdun, to sort of start pushing the German army back. However, although it is slightly relieved British troops at the Somme later on, it was absolutely brutal for the French army. And yeah, of course, when that battle did end on the 18th of December, there were very, very heavy casualties and very high numbers. But indeed, the war did continue. And Joseph Joffre was the commander of the French army, and very much well respected. He did actually do quite well at leading his troops, and he didn't make too many mistakes, apart from at Verdun, of course. But then again, I suppose in the First World War, the idea of just charging the enemy still wasn't over, so the simple numbers of people who died still wasn't really necessarily a matter to them. Luckily for the French, on the 10th of March 1916, while the bloodshed was going at Verdun, some luck did happen. In Cameroon, they had defeated the German forces, and the French army quickly occupied the region. They were even tempted to declare war on Spain, as when German soldiers escaped to Spanish Guinea via Cameroon, the Spain didn't do anything about it and let them. So, however, Spain did remain neutral, and France kept its aggressions down. So, of course, on 11th of November 1918, the French army, in a full advance towards Berlin, the Germans did sign an armistice. And the French Empire now grew from this, 1914, to this, in 1918. And 8 million French soldiers were used to try and gain this. 8 million French soldiers served in the First World War, not just in France, of course, Morocco, French Indochina, Algeria, Tunisia, you named it, also as well, fought in the French army. So finally, the French dream had been achieved, the patriotic dream. Germany had been defeated decisively, at least for the next 21 years, and the empire had grown and the economy was booming. However, now the United States of America, and of course now Russian Revolution, France's actual position as one of the three world superpowers was very much taken over by the Americans. The British, the Americans and the Russians, once the Civil War in Russia was over in 1922, were now the dominant leading world powers. So actually, following the First World War, despite territorial expansion, France was now in a bit of a second-class sort of superpower status that it didn't really like belonging to. But luckily it did maintain very close ties with Britain, and its economy still thrived, and it was doing it very, very well. However, of course, with this expansion of territory, more people like Syria, Lebanon, Lebanese, more Muslims, Islamic people, and in Cameroon, more African people, did not necessarily share this patriarchy for France, and nothing to do with patriarchy, which is men ruling a country. That was a bad choice of words. Anyway, patriotic feelings towards France, and did not share them. So, of course, as we were going to explore in the next videos, this also did lead with conflict, and unfortunately, it did prove for the French army the First World War was indeed the war not to end any war by any means, by any standards at all, because they quickly had to take the rifles straight to Syria, Lebanon or Cameroon to suppress any uprising against independent movements. And that is the French army in World War I. So in conclusion, the World War I, like I said, great boost for the French army in morale. In the short term, Prussia, Germany being defeated at least for the next 21 years, and full of powers, etc. That's spoiling, isn't it? And in the long term, however, France was now seen as now, of course, the might of the Americans, and the later Soviet Union would go on to establish was very much now a sort of second-ranking power behind Britain, Russia, and America. But the economy was still growing, and the conditions for the French people in interwar years and in the start of World War I was definitely looking bright. So thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in the next YouTube video. You can check out my French Empire series, of course, my playlist section, as I'm sure you're probably aware of, considering this is a series. And I will see you in my next YouTube video. Goodbye.